All right, we have the results from the Iowa primary election. Of course, we've been covering this all night long if you joined us on the WQAD app starting at 8 o'clock. But let's start with a look at how these races have played out so far.
Jonas Evans is in studio with a full look at the election results all across Iowa. Hi, Jonas.
Hey guys, yeah, let's start with those races that are still happening. Right now, the one that we've been looking at all day today has been the race for governor in the Republican primary. Zach Lane had been pulling away constantly throughout the night, but as you can see, right now they're separated by less than 1%. And if you want to know why that is, it's because we're still getting numbers from Scott County. That's kind of what's drawing that margin to be a little slimmer. But I want to talk to you about kind of what played out here over the night. Randy Feenstra is from Northwest Iowa. This was the most important area of the state that he really wanted to win strongly. But as you can see, it was actually Zach Lane that had a major win here because he not only covered Northwest Iowa, he got a major advantage in the Des Moines area. Now he hadn't had a seat previously that he was kind of banking on to get some votes, but this is where he was primarily campaigning. It was in the Des Moines area, and as you can see, a major domination there in central Iowa. Now let's talk about those Senate races first. In the Republican primary, where Ashley Hinson was a major favorite. And take a look at this map. I mean, it was not even close, 74%. This is one of the earliest races that we called, and of course, that's what the polling was showing. Now, in the other Senate race on the Democratic side, the polls were a little more scattered. People didn't know exactly what was happening, but as you can see here, Josh Turek, again, dominating the map, especially in rural Iowa. And I was saying throughout the night that Johnson County was going to be very critical. That is where Zach Walz is from. That is where he has campaigned from. And he did actually win Johnson County, but it just wasn't enough. In fact, when we were starting to see the numbers come in from Johnson County, the race was already called for Turek. So we have two very dominant wins as they go into the general election. And then I wanted to quickly note the races in District 1, Christina Bohannon winning with 81.5% of the vote, and then Marionette Miller-Weeks winning with 71% of the vote, but both of them winning every single county in District 1. They go against each other again for the third time, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, guys, one more race that's happening, the auditor race. Chris Knoyer is winning right now with 54.2% of the vote. She is winning right now by 15,000 votes, but we still only have 80% of the estimated total votes. So we're still going to look at what we see from those later numbers. It looks like Knoyer is winning right now, but still a race that is happening. Guys, very exciting night, a lot of maps, and some very close races.
Certainly. Thank you so much for your reporting, Jonas. And of course, the first race we heard called tonight was for the Republican nominee for Iowa Senate. AP called the race for Ashley Hinson, and J.D. Snover with our sister station in Des Moines was with Hinson when she won that nomination.
An election night watch party turned into an election night victory party in just a matter of minutes for Ashley Hinson on Tuesday. She also thanked Joni Ernst and acknowledged that she'd been chasing the hogs out of Washington and pledged to continue doing so. Joni Ernst, of course, will be retiring from the Senate at the end of this term. So, in her acceptance speech, Hinson talked about her track record in Congress. She's been serving Northeast Iowa there since 2021, and she championed what she calls the working family tax cuts, which was, of course, a part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Specifically, she named no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. And she said there's still more work to do.
Despite all of that progress, we know we have a long way to go, right? We have more to do. We have more to do to lower the cost of groceries and gas. We have more to do to help young Iowa families afford their first home and make sure that childcare isn't more expensive than the mortgage payment.
So the focus now turns to that first Tuesday in November when Hinson's name will be on the ballot with Josh Turek. In Cedar Rapids, I'm J.D. Snover.
And tonight, AB called the Democratic Senate race for Josh Turek. About 45 minutes after polls closed, he spoke moments after his race was called.
This campaign has been about fighting for the middle class, working families, rural communities, small family farms, and working with anyone to address rising costs, stagnant incomes, and out-of-control corruption in D.C. Iowans all over this state have heard our message and felt hope that we can change this state and change this country. Tonight is proof of that.
And Matty Franz was with his opponent, Zach Walz, covering that race.
State Representative Josh Turek will be facing off against Representative Ashley Hinson in the general election in November. Turek won a gold medal for wheelchair basketball previously before he went on to win his seat in Council Bluffs with a very thin margin. When he went back for re-election, he was able to widen that margin to about 5%. Now, Turek has really focused on his competitiveness, his ability to win against a Republican. Iowa State Senator Zach Walz, in his concession speech, throwing his full support behind Josh Turek. He really wants all of his supporters, all of his resources to go behind Turek as they make their way to this election.
Clearly, the work that we began together 1 year ago this month does not end tonight. It is going to end in November when Representative Josh Turek defeats Ashley Hinson.
Now, this race has been watched nationally very closely. There are over a dozen outlets here at the Walz Party as we go into November, as Democrats are hoping to flip this open seat. In Iowa City, Maddie Franz, WQAD News 8.